We're told Kenzie makes quilts with some blue squares and some green squares. The ratio of blue squares to green squares is shown in the diagram. The table shows the number of blue squares and the number of green squares that Kenzie will make on 2 of her quilts. All right, this is the table they're talking about. Based on the ratio, complete the missing values in the table. So why don't you pause this video and see if you can figure it out. Well, first let's think about the ratio of blue to green squares. So for every 3 blue squares, let me do that same or similar color. For every 3 blue squares, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green squares. So the ratio of blue to green is 3 to 5. And so in quilt A, she has 21 blue squares. So she has 21 blue squares. How many green squares would she have? Well, to go from 3 to 21, you have to multiply by 7. And so you would take 5 and then multiply that by 7. So you'd multiply 5 times 7 to get to 35. As long as you multiply both of these by the same number or divide them by the same number, you're going to get an equivalent ratio. So 21 to 35 is the same thing as 3 to 5. Now we have a situation in quilt B. They've given us the number of green squares, so that's 20. Well, how do we get 20 from 5? Well, we would multiply by 4. So if you multiply the number of green squares by 4, then you would do the same thing for the number of blue squares. 3 times 4 is going to be equal to 12. 12 blue squares for every 20 green squares is the same ratio as 3 blue squares for every 5 green squares. Let's do another example. Here we are told the following diagram describes the number of cups of blue and red paint in a mixture. What is the ratio of blue paint to red paint in the mixture? So try to work it out. All right, so let's just see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cups of blue paint for every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cups of red paint. So this would be a legitimate ratio, a ratio of 10 cups of blue paint for every 6 cups of red paint. But this isn't in, I guess you could say, lowest terms or most simplified terms, because we can actually divide both of these numbers by 2. So if you divide 10 by 2, you get 5. I'll do that blue color. And if you divide 6 by 2, you get 3. So one way to think about it is for every 5 blue squares, you have 3 red squares in this diagram, in this tape diagram that's sometimes called. Or you could say for every 5 cups of blue paint, you have 3 cups of red paint in our mixture. And you could even see that here. So 3 cups of red paint and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 cups of blue paint. And you see that again right over here. Let's do another example. Here we're told Luna and Ginny each cast magic spells. The ratio of spells Luna casts to spells Ginny casts is represented in this tape diagram. All right. Based on the ratio, what is the number of spells Ginny casts when Luna casts 20 spells? Pause this video, see if you can work it out. All right, so let's just see the ratio here. For every 1, 2, 3, 4 spells that Luna casts, Ginny casts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. So the ratio is 4 to 5. But if Luna casts 20 spells, well, to go from 4 to 20, we had to multiply by 5. And so we would do the same thing with the number of spells Ginny casts. You'd multiply that by 5, so it's 25. So 4 Luna spells for every 5 Ginny spells is the same thing as 20 Luna spells for every 25 Ginny spells. And so how many spells does Ginny cast when Luna casts 20 spells? She casts 25. And we're done.